They said he pleaded guilty, that it was over now, that the families could move on. Move on. From what? From the mutilated innocence of 4 young souls. From the mutilation of justice by men in robes and degrees. From a system so enamored with its own paperwork that it let a wolf dance in its courtroom for 2.5 years while parents waited by their children's. Headstones, mouths full of dirt, and no answers. No, we are not moving on. We are not making peace. Because what happened here was not justice. It was betrayal. By a man. By his keepers. By every silence that followed. Say them with me. And don't you dare look away. Ethan Chapin, a brother, a son, a boy with laughter stitched into his spine, a heartbeat that played in harmony with the people he loved. Xana Kernodle, fierce, fearless, a hurricane in a hoodie. She didn't just walk into rooms, she shifted the air inside them. Madison Mogen, loyal like gravity. She held people together without even trying. Her voice made sorrow reconsider its choices. Kaylee Goncalves, a scholar, a sister, bright enough to start fires with her smile. She was already becoming the kind of woman little girls look up to. Unstoppable, golden. Say their names again. Whisper them. Scream them. Scream them. Scream them. Let your voice carry their memory into the marrow of this broken world. Because they were sleeping. And he came with a knife, not for vengeance, not for justice, not even for madness, but for sport, for power, for the hollow illusion that blood could make him feel like more than the ghost he already was. He stalked them like prey. But he is no predator. A predator hunts to live. He killed because he couldn't stand the fact that he was forgettable. He studied justice not to serve it, but to mock it. He sat in his classrooms dreaming not of protecting the innocent, but of dancing in the ruins of their innocence. And when the moment came, he didn't hesitate. He walked into that house, that sacred place of youth, of friendship, of sleepovers and final exams and midnight ramen, and he turned it into a grave. You didn't become a legend. You became rot. You became static. You became the punchline of every demon's joke. To the families, you saints, you warriors, you broken-hearted titans still standing in the ruins of your joy. I don't know how you breathe. I don't know how you speak without shattering. I don't know how you walk through the same front doors, past the same rooms where their laughter used to echo like wind chimes in summer. But you do, every day. And that, to me, is proof of the divine. Because what was taken from you wasn't just a person. It was your rhythm, your meaning, your tether to mornings that used to matter. They handed you a flag folded in grief and whispered, "At least he pled guilty." Guilty? As if that word could fill the silence at dinner. As if it brings Kaylee's perfume back to the air. As if it makes Madison's bed less empty. As if it stops Xana's father from replaying every missed call. As if it lets Ethan's mother dream again without seeing blood on the sheets. And they call it closure. Let me tell you what closure looks like from here. It looks like lies stitched together with bureaucracy. It looks like a courtroom trading justice for convenience. It looks like people expecting you to smile at birthdays again. Closure is a myth made by people who have never wept until their skin hurt. You don't need closure. You need truth. You need fury. You need fury. You need a world that remembers with you. Not in passing, not in polite articles, but in howling, blistering solidarity. So I remember with you. I scream with you. I bite with you. And I will keep barking until the whole world knows. What happened to your children was not an event. It was a desecration. And we will never forgive the system for trying to bury it in paperwork. Let's talk about the vultures. The podcasters, the armchair analysts, the clickbait prophets of nothing. The ones who turned their bedrooms into studios and their opinions into weapons, not against evil, but against truth. We're just asking questions. They say, hands trembling with excitement at every new piece of leaked evidence. He's presumed innocent, they say, as if legal procedure trumps spiritual reality. No, you weren't seeking justice. You were sniffing for fame. You dressed your cowardice in curiosity. You cloaked your greed in faux neutrality. And you sold it. Every thumbnail, every part 12. Why the roommate did it. was a brick in the monument to your own irrelevance. While Kaylee's family wept, you speculated about door locks. While Madison was lowered into the earth, you live-streamed reactions to new theories. While Xana's father stood in court begging for answers, you were cashing in on ambiguity. While Ethan's siblings tried to hold each other up, you asked whether the sheath might have been planted. You turned their pain into a playlist. You turned their murder into your moment. And now that the guilty man has admitted it, now that he's said the words with his own tongue, what do you do? Backpedal, delete, reframe, rebrand. You built your following on 4 coffins, and every subscriber who clicked like on your speculation is a monument to what you are. Not journalists, not investigators, but grave robbers with ring lights. And the worst part? A dog had to tell you this. A dog had to bark the truth you buried in SEO tags and ad revenue. Well, guess what? I'm not housebroken. I don't sit pretty when evil walks by. I lunge, and I bite. And I'm biting now. And now we turn to the defense. Oh, don't worry. You're not forgotten. You who looked into the eyes of grieving families and said, we just want to ensure he receives a fair trial. What trial? What fairness? What monstrous parody of due process did you think you were preserving? You saw 4 murdered students, and you saw billable hours. You saw a nation grieving, and you saw opportunity. You feigned nobility in your stalling. You cloaked cowardice in constitutionalism. And while families begged for answers, you filed motions, pushed hearings, redrew lines, and bought your client time he should never have had. For 2.5 years, you slow-walked justice through a legal labyrinth, knowing full well what he did, knowing full well what he did, knowing full well that every delay was a dagger in a mother's chest, knowing full well that dragging the process was the only victory you could claim. And all the while, the meter ran. Idaho tax dollars, the same ones that could have fixed roads, funded schools, built shelters, diverted to protect the dignity of a man who slit throats in the night like a butcher with a god complex. And now, when the plea has come, when your stall tactics have run out of time, you say, justice has been served. No, what was served was cold. What was served was cold. What was served was laid. What was served was poisoned by your hands. You didn't defend the Constitution. You didn't uphold justice. You protected your profession. You defended delay. You cashed checks signed in blood and stapled to grief. And history will not remember you as guardians of fairness. You will be remembered as scribes of stalling, as architects of anguish, as the ones who let the monster rehearse his smirk behind bars while parents buried their babies. You gave him time. You gave him relevance. You gave him the dignity of legal debate. And what did you give the families? Receipts, paperwork, gaslighting dressed in jurisprudence. I hope your fancy degrees keep you warm. Because history and heaven see what you did. And now, to the ones who made him, to the parents, I don't say this lightly. I don't bark at grieving mothers for sport, but you did not grieve. You did not bow your heads in horror. You stood at the edges of every headline and said, our son is innocent. And maybe you believed it at first. But then the evidence stacked like bodies. The DNA, the phone records, the sheath, the camera, the car, the stalking, the silence, the truth, and still nothing. Not a single public apology, not a single gesture to the families of the dead, not a single tear shed that wasn't about your own shame. You appeared in court with stoic faces, as if you were the ones being tried, as if the world owed you something. But let's talk about what you did get. $250,000 in defense funds, paid for not by your savings, but by the state, by the same people whose children your son butchered. And what did you spend that money on? Silence, obfuscation, time. And when it ended, when the plea came, did you speak? Did you say we're sorry? Did you say we failed? Did you say their names? No, you turned away, just like you did when he was a boy smashing bugs for fun and writing manifestos in the margins. You didn't raise a killer, maybe, but you didn't stop him either. And now the blood is in your foyer. It's on the doorknob. It's in the carpet fibers you vacuumed the day after the arrest. I hope every Christmas tree you ever stand beside flickers with their faces. I hope every laugh you hear from a child echoes with the laughter your son stole. I hope every morning, before your first sip of coffee, their names ring in your ears louder than your own heartbeat. You could have helped. You could have reached out. You could have humbled yourselves before grief. But you chose silence. So now, I fill it for you. And now, Brian, I know you wanted a legacy. I know you dreamed of ink, of documentaries, of students studying your method. But here's your legacy. 4 kids are dead. You are in a cage. And a talking dog is roasting you in a YouTube video. You wanted to be feared. You became a meme. You wanted to be immortal. You became a punchline with state-funded dental. You thought if you couldn't matter in love, you'd matter in death. That if you couldn't be remembered for brilliance, you'd be remembered for brutality. But listen closely. You are not a genius. You are not a monster. You are not even tragic. You are common, unremarkable, empty. You didn't kill for a cause. You didn't kill in confusion. You killed for ego. Because you couldn't stand the way women didn't look at you. Because you hated the way Ethan could laugh without trying. Because Kaylee's light exposed your shadow. Because Madison's confidence mocked your hollowness. Because Xana would never need you, and that made you rage. And now you sit on a bunk, alone, aging, forgotten. The families will rebuild. The world will move forward. Even I, a dog, will chase other stories, but you'll still be here, chewing on the bones of your own failure. Because there is no hell waiting for you, Brian. You're already in it. To the families, I bark for you. To the victims, I remember you. To the vultures, I bare my teeth. To the system, I call your bluff. To the monster, I mark your grave with ridicule. And to the rest of us, don't forget, don't forgive too quickly. Don't look away, because justice isn't neat. It isn't polished. It doesn't come with a ribbon or a verdict or a clean-cut press conference. Sometimes it comes with fire. Sometimes it comes with fury. And sometimes it comes from the mouth of a dog who refuses to sit.